Hello, I'm Dinah the dinosaur, here to tell you about the letter D, D for dinosaur. Today we will look at the letter D. Let's start with the capital D. The capital D starts on the sky. It pulls down to the ground and we pick up our pencil, start back at the sky and go around to the grass to make a capital D with a straight line and a big curve. Next, we'll make the lowercase d. Lowercase d starts with our magic letter, magic C, then all the way up to the sky and down to the ground. We can remember which way our magic C, D, goes by thinking about a door. When you walk through a door, what do you have to touch first to be able to open the door? First, you have to be able to turn the doorknob. Then after you turn the doorknob, then you open the door. So when we write a lowercase d, we start on the fence. We make that magic C that turns into a doorknob. We do not pick up our pencil. We keep going up after we make the doorknob to make the door. Then we come all the way back down to the grass to make a door. This is a D, and a D says D. This is a D, and a D says D. When we make the sign for the sound of D, we make our doorknob first, and then we have a door. We can knock, knock on the door, but then we can use just our doorknob and go d. So the sign for the sound of D is d. Just like you're knocking on the door. D. I like to use this paper that has a blue line on the top, and that blue line is called the sky or the top line. I like to use this paper that has a green line on the bottom, and that bottom green line is the grass. And in between we have the dotted line, and the dotted line is the fence. I have some things here that start with the letter D. I have a dinosaur, and a dog. Daisy and duck both start with D. Daisy would start with a capital D because only names and the beginning of sentences start with capital letters. Duck starts with a lowercase d because it's a noun, but it's not a name. There's another dog and a quacking duck. It's a duck. And one more dinosaur. Let's make some capital D's. For capital D, we start on the sky, pull down to the grass, pick our pencil up, go back to the sky, and a big curve around to the grass. For lowercase d, we start on the fence, make our magic C, finish our doorknob and then go all the way to the sky and make a door back down to the grass. This is a D and a D says D. This is a D and a D says D. Let's stretch out a word that starts with D. Let's stretch out the word dog. D-og. Dog. Now let's write dog. We write the letter that makes each sound. D. Ah. G. Dog. Let's write a few more D's. This is a D and a D says D. This is a D and a D says D. This is a D and a D says D. This is a D and a D says D. D is a consonant, not a vowel, it's a consonant. Here we have some more D words that start with the sound D, D, D. Dolphin, Dalmatian, daisy, dragonfly, and donkey all start with D, D, D. Before we go, let's sing the whole alphabet together. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now we've said our ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Don't forget about your doorknob first and then a door. If you're not sure if you're looking at a D or B, think to yourself, is there a doorknob first? And that will help you remember your letter D. This is a D and a D says D. This is a D and a D says D. Come back to learn more letters with us.